video, we are going to discuss about discrete cosine transform. So we have done enough videos on DFT, that is discrete Fourier transform. Now we are going to discuss in this video about discrete cosine transform. So I want to mention at the beginning itself that there is a full whole playlist created for DSP. If you are interested in watching the videos on digital signal processing or DSP, please do watch the videos on DSP which are being given in the DSP playlist. Okay, so let us discuss about discrete cosine transform in this video. Okay, now what is the basic difference between discrete cosine transform and discrete Fourier transform? So in Fourier transform means it is expressed as Fourier terms, or in simple words you can say that the DFT is expressing a complex input as a sum of various complex terms. So the equation for DFT is like this. I'll write in the bottom. Okay. So x of k, capital X of k is equal to sigma n is equal to 0 to capital N minus 1. X of n e raised to minus j 2 pi k n by capital N. You can clearly see that there is a e raised to term here. This e raised to term is cos theta or cos this term plus j sine this term or minus j sine this term. Anyway, it is a complex term. It is having a imaginary part also, right? So if you take the DFT means the output that you are going to get is a complex variable or a complex expression. But if you are going to take a discrete cosine transform means you are going to get a real value. You are only having cosine terms in the DCT expression. Whereas you can clearly see here, this is the DFT expression which is having cos term plus j sine term. So it is a imaginary, it is having an imaginary part also, so that is a complex variable. So if you are saying as a formal definition, DFT expression or DFTs generally take complex inputs and give us complex output. But DCT is operating on the set of real numbers. See, the function DCT is defined from r raised to n to r raised to n. This r is nothing but real numbers. So DCT is defined on the set of real numbers only. It is not defined on complex numbers. This is the basic or the basic underlying difference between DFT and DCT. So if somebody is asking you what is the basic difference between DCT and DFT, you should be able to give them the correct answer. This is the basic difference. Here you will get a complex value. Here you are getting a real value because it is actually defined on the set of real numbers only. Okay. Now let us discuss more about the DCT, which is actually our topic for today. So DCT is discrete cosine transform. It expresses a finite set of sequences or data points as functions of cosine terms, or it expresses data points in terms of cosine functions oscillating at different frequencies. Okay. Or in simple words, you can say that it takes a set of input data elements and it will give us an expression in terms of cosine terms. Okay. So that is DCT. The main application of DCT is, if you have studied digital image processing, then you should have actually studied about this term, because we are mainly studying DCT in the image processing area only. Okay. So the main applications of DCT is, I have written it here. You can see it on the board. The first and the most important thing, or the most important application, is image compression, then video compression also, biometrics, cryptography, face recognition. Mostly we are using or making use of this DCT to compress our images and videos and make them suitable for the purpose of sending to a distant location. So before sending an image file or a video file, we'll compress it. For compressing it, we make use of DCT. Now how this compression is actually happening, you will get to know while we are doing some problems. Okay. You can see that after performing DCT, some of the data elements or some of the data values will get vanished. Okay. So the size will get reduced. So that thing we will discuss while after doing the problem. Okay. So let us see the definitions as expression first. Okay. So DCT, if you say as a definition of in terms of an expression, DCT is a linear invertible function. Okay, I hope you can see the board very clearly. So it is a linear invertible function f defined from r raised to n to r raised to n. Now what is r? R is real numbers. We have already discussed that thing. N is the length of your sequence. It is discrete value. It is discrete cosine transform. Discrete means it is defined only on finite data set or finite length elements. So that length is called n. Okay. Actually, I have searched for a lot of videos on DCT over the YouTube, but I couldn't really find a video which could explain to me completely. That's why I'm making this video for you. Okay. So r raised to n to r raised to n. Now, why this n we are taking? Just like DFT. DFT is a transform. All these are transforms. Discrete cosine transform and discrete Fourier transform. All these are transforms. Here, just like DFT, DCT is also a discrete cosine transform. Discrete means it is defined only for finite length of data sequence. Okay. So that length we are taking as n. Okay. So there are actually various expressions for DCT. There is DCT1, DCT2. If you Google about DCT, you will get a lot of definitions. DCT1 is there, DCT2 is there, 3 is there, 4 is there. There are actually variations of one another, and it is being put forward by various persons. Okay. The most commonly used expression is DCT2. That's why I've stopped with DCT2, because if you go on writing the expressions, there is a lot, but you don't actually require all of them. They are theory thing. You don't require that. Okay, but we'll see the first two expressions anyway. So, DCT1 is x of k equal to 1 by 2, x of 0 plus minus 1 whole raised to k, x of n minus 1 plus sigma n equal to 1 to capital N minus 2, x of n cos pi by n minus 1 nk. Now, here n varies from 1 to n minus 2. The first two terms we are actually taking here. Okay, you can see here small x and capital X. Capital X is the DCT value. Small x is representing your data points. Okay, so you will be giving some input data to this expression or to this transform, and then by using this expression you will be converting that data sequence to a DCT expression, right? So that data sequence which you are giving is small x, x of 0, x of n minus 1, all this x of n, everything, small letter x is representing your data points. Okay, so that data points are being given to this expression, and with the help of this expression you will get a DCT capital X of k. Okay. And k also varies from 0 to capital N minus 1, where n is the length of your sequence. Okay, next. So this is the DCT1 expression. DCT2 expression is the most commonly used one. And it is defined like this. X of k is equal to summation n is equal to 0 to capital N minus 1 x of n cos pi by n plus 1 by 2 k. Okay, here also k varies from 0 to n minus 1. Now, there is one problem with DCT1, that is the DCT1 is not defined for n less than 2. Okay, so consider that your n value is less than 2. In this case, you cannot use this DCT1 expression. Okay, so the DCT1 is not defined for n length less than 2. But we can use DCT2. Okay. So if your capital N value or n, the length is less than 2, you cannot use the DCT1 expression. So that is another important thing you should be knowing. Okay. Now this is the definition and all. Now let us see how can we do some numerical questions, or what type of numerical questions you can expect from this DCT area. How can we actually write a matrix form for DCT so that we can perform matrix multiplication and find the transform. While studying the DFT also, we have discussed the matrix form of DFT, right? Here also we are going to see how we can perform matrix multiplication and how we can form the DCT matrix. Okay. Next, we are going to see the matrix representation of DCT. Okay. So, generally while doing the problems and all, we'll be performing matrix multiplication only. That is, we are performing the matrix multiplication to do image compression and all with the help of DCT. Okay. So, how to form this matrix, that is DCT matrix, we are going to see. Okay. So, this DCT matrix has an expression. So, this is the most important part of this video. So the theory part and all, it is actually not coming in the examinations. When you are attending the examinations, the questions will be like perform the DCT operation for this sequence or this particular matrix. These type of questions you'll be facing. So for that, you have to actually form a DCT matrix. So how to form that matrix? Let us see. Okay, so there are two cases. The image or the signal, it can be either sequence given or an image matrix given. It can be either 1D format or 2-dimensional format. Okay, consider that your image or the sequence that is being given to you to convert, that is to convert to DCT form. It can be of 1D, that is 1-dimensional. Then it will be having only one variable, that is f of x. Okay, if it is 2D means there will be two variables, f of x, comma y. You can convert this 1-dimensional to f of u, and the 2-dimensional you can convert to f of u comma v. So for converting the 1-dimensional image or sequence, you have to multiply the given image or the sequence matrix. This is a matrix. Okay, f is a matrix. This f matrix you have to multiply with the DCT matrix. C is a DCT matrix. Okay, this is the basic concept. Later on we will be seeing how to form the DCT matrix. But just know, in order to convert a 1D signal or a 1D sequence or a image matrix, there is a 1D sequence if it is given to you. Generally, 1D sequence will be there, right? So, if a 1-dimensional sequence is given to you and you want to take the DCT means, you have to multiply that sequence, the matrix form, with the DCT matrix. Now, consider that you have been given a 2-dimensional image. Okay. So, that 2-dimensional image, in order to convert in the discrete cosine transform domain, in order to convert to DCT domain, you have to first form the DCT matrix, that is C, then perform this operation C, F, C transpose. So this is the DCT matrix. This is the transpose of the DCT matrix. Then F is your 2-dimensional image matrix. Okay. So this operation you have to perform to convert that 2-dimensional image to DCT domain. Okay, I hope this much is clear. Next, this is the equation for forming the matrix C. So you have to first form the DCT matrix. Only then you can convert the given sequence to the DCT domain, right? So for forming the DCT matrix, you have to use this equation. Okay, so I've also drawn the outline of your C matrix, that is DCT matrix. It will be having values of U in the row wise and column wise it will be having V values. So it starts from 0. Okay. So starting value is 0. 0 to onwards it will go. On column you will have V, on row you will have U. Okay. Now the value you can find, that is the element values for the column and rows, you can find by using this expression. When U is equal to 0 means, U is equal to 0 means for the first row, the value will be 1 by square root of n. You have to use this equation for the first row. For the remaining rows, you have to use this equation. That is square root of 2 by n cos pi 2v plus 1 into u by 2n. Now, what is capital N? N is the length of your sequence. U is the elements or the numbers of row. V is the numbers of column. Okay. So, this is the expression. Now, we are going to see how to form this DCT matrix for n sequence is equal to 4. That is, for n value equal to 4, what is the DCT matrix? Directly we will be seeing. Okay. Then we will make use of that matrix and we will do a numerical question also. Okay. Next, we are going to see the DCT matrix for n equal to 4. Okay. So, the value for n equal to 4, how the DCT matrix is going to come, we are going to see. Okay. So, just now we have discussed the equation to form the DCT matrix, right? So while discussing the equation for C, we have seen C equal to 1 by square root of n, right? It is 1 by square root of n for u value equal to 0, right? That is for the first row. This is u value is equal to 0 means this first row, right? And in that case, the value is 1 by square root of n. Here n is equal to 4, right? N is equal to 4 means the square root of n is equal to square root of 4 is 2. That is 1 by 2. 1 by 2 means it is 0.5. That's why I have written 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. All values will be same. That is 0.5. Why? Because we are taking the expression 1 by square root of n. Okay. And this is the expression. This is the values for the first row. Okay. Now, your row number 2, that is your second last row, is also having the same values, but there is some sign changes. Okay. The values I'll write first: 0.5, 0.5, 0.5 and 0.5. Okay. So the values are same. The middle two values are having negative values. Okay. Negative sign. So this is the row number 2. Okay. Now, next, let us see the row number 1. The expressions for row number 1 is like this. I'll write it. Okay. So, the row number 1 is having values 0.65, 0.27. Only these two values you have to study by heart. Other values you can remember if you know how the sign is changing. Okay. So, these two values you have to study. 0.65 and 0.27. Now, the next two is actually the reversed form. It is 0.27, 0.65. Okay. Just reverse these two elements. Here it is 0.65, 0.27. Just reverse it. So, 0.27, 0.65. And also, they are negative. Okay. Now, for forming the last row, you have to again reverse these two elements and write it. That is 0.27 will come here, 0.65 comes here. Okay. So 0.27. Now ignore the signs as of now. Okay. Just write the elements. 0.27, 0.65. Okay. We'll write the elements as it is by taking the signs also. Okay. So I have just reversed these two elements. 0.27 comes here, 0.65 comes here, 0.65. Okay. Now, here also reverse it. So it will be minus 0.65 and it will be minus 0.27. Right. Okay. So this is, we have reversed or we have the alternated or we have changed the position of these two elements. 0.27 comes here, 0.65 here. Minus 0.65 here, minus 0.27 here. Again, this row and this row are similar, right? And these two middle elements will have a sign change. So, multiply the middle two elements with a negative sign. So, this will be negative and this will be positive. So, you can ignore the sign of this. Okay, so this is your DCT matrix for n is equal to 4. So, while discussing the DFT matrix, also I have given you some tricks to remember. Here also, it is very easy. You just have to study actually these two elements. Okay. And other things is just remembering of sign changes. Okay. So, the first row and the this second row. Actually, it is coming as a third row. But the number is 2. Okay. Number 2 row is of same values. All are 0.5. But the middle two elements are negative. Here, you have to remember these two. These values actually we are getting by putting the values of u and v in the expression we have discussed just before. Okay. So, you can either go on by putting the values of u and v. Otherwise, you can just remember it because it is very easy. Okay. So, this is 0.65 and 0.27. Then, reverse it and write it here. 0.27, 0.65 and also they are negative. Now, reverse these two elements here. There is 0.27 come here, 0.65 comes here. Then, 0.65 here, 0.27 here. And also we have written all the elements just like this row, but in the reverse form. And there is a sign change for the middle two elements. So multiply and you will be getting the correct sign form. Okay. So this is the DCT matrix for n value is equal to 4. And for n is equal to 2, the DCT matrix is like this. Okay. 0.707 and 0.707, 0.707 and minus 0.707. Okay. That is U will be 0 to 1 and V will be 0 to 1. This is the DCT matrix for n is equal to 2. 0.707, 0.707, all values are same, only here there is a negative sign. Okay. So these are the two DCT matrices. Next we are going to do a numerical question on finding the DCT of a given sequence. Okay. This is a small numerical question on finding the DCT of a given image matrix. Okay. So you are being given an image matrix I 4 by 4. So this is clearly a two-dimensional image. Its matrix has been given to you and it is in the leveled form. Okay. So this is the given matrix, that is 4 by 4 matrix it is. You have to perform discrete cosine transform. That is, you have to compress this image matrix. That is the thing we have to do. That is by applying of DCT. And the operation that you have to perform here is, in order to find the DCT, you have to take C, F, C transpose. So this is the F matrix, which is your given images, image matrix is your, it has been taken as F. So you have to perform C, F, C transpose. Okay. Now, you can clearly see that n value is equal to 4. It is a 4 by 4 matrix. So, n is equal to 4. Okay. So, you have to first form the DCT matrix. We have just now formed the DCT matrix C. C, that is given by the variable C and it will be of this form. Okay, we have just now discussed that how this matrix can be studied and what is the matrix, how is it looking like. Okay. So, this is the C matrix or the DCT matrix and this is your given F matrix and this is nothing but the transpose of the C matrix. So you have to take C, F, C transpose. So just reverse the columns and rows, you will be getting the C transpose. Okay. So this C and C transpose are not symmetrical. So they are not identical. Okay. So you won't be getting C equal to C transpose. Okay. So you have to take the column and form the row. Just like you have to take every column and form the rows and then only you will be getting the C transpose. Okay. And then take the product of these three matrices and you will be getting your final DCT. So since DCT matrix is not symmetrical, you have to form specifically C transpose. Okay. You have to take the every column and convert them to row and you will be getting the transpose. Okay. I hope that you know this basic operations. Okay. And when performing C, F, C transpose, you will be getting the compressed form of this image matrix and it will be looking like this. You can clearly see that there is only 4 elements present and the rest of all the elements has been converted to 0. Okay. So the other elements are 0. Only 4 elements are present here. So clearly you can see that this was our original image. See, this was our original matrix, image matrix. Now it is of this form. So clearly we have compressed the image. Okay. So this is how we can compress an image by performing of discrete cosine transform operation. Okay. So just take the DCT matrix and multiply with the given image matrix. You will be compressing the image because you will be losing mostly all the elements present in your image matrix. But since DCT is reversible, you can recover your original image matrix also by performing the inverse DCT. You will be recovering the image also. So this is how we are making use of DCT for compressing of images and videos. Okay. So I hope that now by seeing this result, you have got an idea like how this compression is actually happening. You can clearly see many of the elements has now vanished. It is being converted to 0. So the size has been reduced. Compression has been occurred. Okay. So this is how we are making use of DCT for compressing of images. Mostly we will be using for image compression only. Okay. So I'm really hoping that you understood the concept of DCT. What is DCT? What is its difference from DFT? What is the basic equations, DCT1, DCT2, DCT2? What is the equation for forming the DCT matrix? How the DCT matrix can be used for performing of 1D, 2D conversions to the DCT domain. All those things. Also, we have discussed an example. Okay. So I'm really hoping that you found the video useful. If yes, please do give it a thumbs up. Also share it with your friends. And if you want more videos, please do subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and keep on watching.